This screencast is going to cover the mixer brush basics. I'm going to first start by opening up our starting file that we're going to use for the mixer brush, and you should be able to find that in your demo folder. I'm going to go ahead and start with landscape start.jpg. Now we're going to be creating a digital painting with this file. So the first thing is that with the mixer brush I can blend colors together. And what's really nice about any of the paintings is that I can put in colors that I want if colors don't already exist. So for instance, the sky is really bland and I want to add some blue color back into it. So I am going to get my mixer brush, which is hidden beneath the brush tool. And I'm going to get a much smaller brush than this. And some of these icons, this first one is going to allow me to load whatever my foreground color is anytime I create a brush stroke. The next one is going to ask me if I want to clean the brush after every stroke. And then I have a bunch of settings up here that resemble paint. So how wet do I want the paint to be? How much paint do I want to load onto my brush? How well do I want it to mix? And how well do I want it to flow off of that paintbrush? Photoshop has some really nice custom presets here that we can use. Now whenever you're adding in color for the first time and you don't want to blend it, stick with the dry setting. And we do want to load a color, but we want to start with some sort of a light blue color. And I'm just going to start by first just going in and painting this in. Okay, now this is a little bit of a bright blue, maybe a little bit more bright than what I would want, but it will still show the ability of the brush. And I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap here so that I can eventually blend this color in with this color. Alright, so I have one color in, now I want to go in with a darker color and paint on top of it. Again, leaving some room for me to blend those colors in. Alright, so now whenever I'm ready to blend, I'm going to tell it to stop loading that color because I don't need to load a color if I'm just going to blend. And then I want to go in and choose one of these wet settings. And you'll watch as I click and drag, it's going to start to mix those colors together. And so it's kind of like I'm making a really stormy sky here. And it might take a little bit of going back and forth. Maybe you need to go back through and put in some original colors again with your color picker here. And we'll just choose a different color and maybe we'll put it back in and then we'll tell it to stop loading and mix it back in. Alright, so we're just trying as much as we can to just blend those colors. And it's not something you're just going to be able to go over once and be completely done. You're going to need to take your time and really blend in those colors and go over it more than once. Now when you're ready to blend in the color below, you're going to want to check sample all layers because every part that you paint needs to go on its own layer. So I have my layer 1 here, that's my sky. And then the part below it is my background layer, and I want to blend that in too, but I don't want to work on my background layer. So I'm just going to hit sample all layers, and now it's going to start to blend in this white gray color for me. And it's going to do a pretty good job. And then I'm just going to keep working that up and into my actual painting until it starts to blend and starts to look a little bit better. You can use any of your brush presets, so if I was going to do the tree, I wouldn't stay with this setting. Maybe I would move to a brush like this and work with it like this. Again, keeping in mind that if I want to add color, I would need to go to the dry setting and add in the color and then come back into the more wet setting and blend it in together. Okay, this is a screencast that went over the mixer brush.